Okay, so what if I told you that you could learn 18 new words by pulling off a heist? In this explainer, we're not just going to list definitions. Nope, we're using them to build a story from the ground up. It's a tale of a high-stakes robbery where the vocabulary is literally driving the action. Let's see how this thing unfolds. So that's our challenge, right? Can we tell a whole story, from the crew to the crime to the big finale, using just the vocabulary we've got on hand? Can we make it a compelling narrative? Well, there's only one way to find out. Let's meet the crew. First things first, the crew. Every great heist story needs a team you can root for. But this one, well, let's just say they're memorable, but maybe for all the wrong reasons. Our story kicks off with a group of truly hapless individuals. And when I say hapless, I mean unlucky. These aren't your slick professional thieves from the movies. No, these are the kind of folks who'd find a way to trip over a wireless cable. For them, luck is just not a thing. Now, the masterminds of this whole operation, they're a bevy of would-be criminal geniuses. Just picture a large gathering of them, a whole group all huddled over a map, totally convinced they've cooked up a foolproof plan. A big group all sharing that same unfortunate, hapless DNA. And who did this bevy of planners get to do the dirty work? A brood of apprentices. You heard me. A whole family of young, inexperienced wannabes who are super eager to please but have absolutely no clue what they're getting into. So, you've got a bevy of planners and a brood of rookies. Seriously, what could possibly go wrong? So, with our hapless crew all assembled, it's time to move on to the next crucial phase, drawing up the plan. And oh boy, what a plan it is. The bevy decided to draw up, to create, the simplest plan they could think of. Step 1, get the blueprints. Step 2, dress up like guards. And their brilliant step 3, if anything goes sideways, just do it over. Yep, just hit the reset button and start from the top. Flawless, right? Of course, there's always a massive gap between what's on paper and what happens in reality. The leader was crystal clear. Stick to the simple plan. But during the very first practice run, the brood of rookies decided to, improvise. Total chaos. What they did, it was a complete dereliction of duty, a total neglect of their one simple job: follow the plan. Instead of a smooth professional operation, it was basically a comedy of errors. And this brings us to another phrasal verb with dress in it. The leader had to dress down the entire crew, and that doesn't mean help them with their costumes. It means to reprimand them severely. You can just imagine the yelling. The leader basically shouted, "It would behoove you all to take this seriously." In other words, it would be absolutely necessary and proper for them to get their act together if they wanted even a tiny chance of pulling this off. So why were they even risking all this? Well, it's because their target was a dastardly villain, a truly cowardly and mean tycoon who had stolen something really precious from them. So for them, this wasn't just about money. This was personal. This was payback. Okay, so the crew has been properly yelled at, they're motivated, and the night of the heist is finally here. The planning phase is over, it's time to move. It's time to go through the gloomy night. The night was colliginous. What a fantastic word, right? It just means dark and gloomy, shrouded in mist. It was the kind of night where the shadows themselves seemed to be alive, absolutely perfect for a secret mission. Remembering their leader's words ringing in their ears, the brood moved stealthily. They crept quietly, secretly, through the property, their movements finally looking disciplined and focused. Then, their first huge obstacle just looms out of the colliginous dark, a massive rampart, a giant protective wall surrounding the villain's compound. And of course, it was way bigger than it looked on the schematics. And perched right on top of that rampart was the real problem, a battery of automated security cannons. Not a power source, a whole group of them, swiveling back and forth, just ready to fire. One wrong move, and this whole thing was over. But they did it. They made it past the cannons. And inside the vault, they found their prize. It wasn't gold, it wasn't jewels. It was a single, massive bale of stolen artwork. A huge, tightly bound bundle, all wrapped up and ready for transport. As they finally laid their eyes on that bale, you could almost see their pupils begin to dilate. Their eyes just expanded, widened, with this mix of awe and greed and the absolute thrill of knowing they were this close. In that moment, they were completely esurient. And I don't mean for food. They were incredibly hungry, just eager for the victory, for the reward, for the justice they were about to claim. So the big question is, did they get away with it? Well, you know what? We're going to leave our hapless crew right there, standing on the edge of success or total disaster. Because whether they got away with it or not, that isn't really the point of our story today. The real point is the piquant takeaway. The most piquant detail, the most interestingly stimulating part of this whole adventure is how the words themselves built the world, created the characters, and ratcheted up the tension. The heist was just a fun way to put our vocabulary to work. And that's why this really matters. Saying a night is colliginous is so much more powerful than just saying it's dark. Calling something a dereliction of duty is so much more specific than just saying it was a failure. See, precise language isn't about showing off, it's a powerful tool. It lets you paint a vivid picture, build real tension, and tell a much more compelling story. Whether you're writing an email, giving a presentation, or just talking to a friend. Look at what we just did. We pulled off a whole heist with just 18 words. We created a world, a crew, a conflict. Now you have these words in your arsenal too. So the only question left is, what story are you going to tell?